সমস্যা হয়
নাই তেওঁলোকে
ক্ষেত্ৰত সমস্যাৰ সন্মুখীন হয়
এক্স্যাক্টলি হয় না তেওঁলোকে কামত নলগাই পইচাটো খুদত দিয়ে কিবা দিয়ে মানে সেলফ হেল্প গ্ৰুপৰ পইচাটো প্ৰপাৰলি তেওঁলোকে ইউজ কৰিব
ব্যৱহাৰ নহয়
তেওঁলোকে যাতে নিজৰ মাজত সেইটো ব্যৱহাৰ কৰি কম্পিটিশন এটা ক্ৰিয়েট কৰিব পাৰে আৰু তাৰ পৰা যিগৰাকী হ'ব তেওঁক মানে তাৰ কাৰণে কম্পিটিশন সবে কৰিব এটা চৰকাৰে যেটো পইচা দিব সেই পইচাটো যদি
মোৰ মতে নিৰ্মলা সীতাৰমণে এতিয়া অকমান বিস্তাৰিতভাৱে যাব এতিয়া এইখন যিখন সংবাদমেল এতিয়া অলপ বিস্তাৰিতভাৱে যাব কাৰণ তেওঁক প্ৰশ্ন তেনেধৰণে সুধিব সাংবাদিকসকলে সুধিব গতিকে সংবাদমেলৰ যেহেতু আয়োজন গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ আমি কিন্তু ঠিক 3 বজাত আমাৰ এই অনুষ্ঠানটো সামৰিব লাগিব কিন্তু কথা হৈছে তেতিয়ালৈ তেওঁ কোনকেইটা প্ৰসংগ চুই যাব সেইখিনি
ডিফেন্স এলোকেশন
আহিব খুজিছো নিৰ্মলা সীতাৰমণে কি কৈছে
coming over for this press conference soon after the budget presentation has happened in the parliament. I take this as an opportunity to not only answer your questions but also to be able to elaborate on a lot of points which will be relevant for the discussions and the discourse which happens post the budget presentation. As I started during the presentation of the budget itself saying, this budget, which is the first one for this term of the government, is presented with a 10-year vision in mind. The 10-year vision is also a point of continuity from the interim budget, where the specifics of what we expect to achieve in 10 years is very well narrated. I recalled them. And also, what is attainable as a target within 5 years, which is in short, in a concise form we say $5 trillion economy, but this is only to indicate that within 5 years, the major steps that we are going to take towards achieving that kind of a level. So the emphasis is very clearly on overall development of the economy, where you're looking at rural initiatives, all of which will give a certain and therefore confidence. Similarly, which urban living bettered, and what were the ways in which we were going to spend money both in urban and rural in the name of infrastructure, in the name of building better cities, better villages, facilities, and so on. In this, in every one of the point, there is an aspect of effectively managing the challenges that we have on an environment. That's why there's emphasis on waste to energy, waste to wealth management and so on, all of which in terms of what kind of a particular benefit it is going to give will have to be calibrated with the particular benefit together with the collaterals which are more important. So all of which is aimed at the broad picture of the new India, where we are saying it's going to be a better India with all kinds of facilities which are just not building one bridge, but because you're building it in a green way, is going to have an impact on all of the aspects of ease of living. Like the way we constantly talk about environment, water pollution and degradation and so on. So that is why the budget presentation format also was 10-year vision, 5-year target, and the 5-6 areas through which we are elaborating on the various schemes, whether it is Gramin Bharat, whether it's Urban Bharat, whether it's looking at youth. So it's not just I've launched XYZ schemes in different areas, but it's a comprehensive picture of that entire segment or sector of society being improved upon. So under that, as I said, urban, rural, youth, women have all been taken up, and also special initiatives to improve the ease of living. And one broad reference was also made for the India international image through the soft power. But more importantly, that one particular sector on which there's a lot of discussion going on for the last almost 8-9 months is about the NBFCs, because they are a very critical component to our banking system, in that they are the ones who are lending to the last consumer who wants to buy his motorbike or a scooter or even purchase something, and therefore these NBFC credits were very, very critical. I've made it a point to mention as to what the government's plan is. It's not just a one-off. It's a comprehensively well thought out approach to the crisis about which all of us were talking about. And therefore, on that, the approach that we have taken and the approach which is going to make the Reserve Bank of India a regulator both for the NBFCs in general and for the housing, where already the NBFC was doing or expected of that powers to finance bill which is presented now will be given off to the RBI. There's also this window, there is a backstop of the government security up to 10%, and we expect as a result the pooling of those resources or assets which can be bought and somewhere securitized. So the whole approach is to ensure that the government has responded comprehensively for the NBFC issue. And if we have responded comprehensively to the NBFC issue without understanding the regulatory shortcomings, it would have been something which you may want to ask more questions. But now, what I want to tell you is, it's a comprehensive approach, understanding that the regulatory powers also will have to be addressed, and that is being moved to the RBI. And one other big thing that I'm sure all of you all would have noticed, there is about recapitalization 70,000 crores for the banks which is being given, and because of that we expect, even if there is this debate that no, it is not a liquidity issue, banks have money, they are not passing it on, or they are passing it on higher rates, and that is not getting moved over to the citizens, that issue should now stand squarely addressed, because that fund is going to help the banks to be a bit more easy with their credit extensions. Then many other points which could otherwise get lost, I would broadly only indicate about the way in which we have decided on the government holding 51%, on the disinvestment. All the targets are realistically placed. Every target that we've given, tax collection, revenue collection, are all absolutely reasonable limits. There's no exaggeration of tasks of the assignment. So I would think there's emphasis on green, affordable, ease of living for common citizens. Infrastructure gets priority, like the way in which the last 5 years consumption in the rural areas is being pumped by the government's expenditure on infrastructure, so that in situ benefits for workers who are working in these projects will reach money, actual money, real money will reach the rural consumer. So broadly, that's the kind of line we've taken. Startups have been given a whole set of tax benefits, whole set of approach